do 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 do. My wand has arrived, which means we can do the Harry Potter tag challenge. So I've been waiting to do a Harry Potter video for a while, and for the longest time I couldn't think of anything to do that I really wanted to like start. So maybe I'll use this tag challenge as a way to sort of kickstart that. And we'll talk about other stuff later on. So we're gonna start here, and the first question is, favorite book, Prisoner of Azkaban. Um, I like Prisoner of Azkaban because it has all of my favorite characters moving about. Friend George is doing stuff with Harry, which you don't really see. Um, we get some really great moments with McGonagall and Trelawney. Professor Hagrid is a thing. Sirius Black, Remus Lupin. There's a lot of really great characters in book three alone. A lot of great interactions. I love it. Even the really stupid time turner thing, which when you hear it, like how Hermione got it, is makes no sense logically speaking. Like, so Professor McGonagall, Hermione, age 13, wants time travel to take more classes. So you, instead of like teaching Hermione the importance of managing her time and setting her priorities straight, you write numerous letters to the government for permission for her to get time travel capabilities. And that's not even to say that Hermione's irresponsible, but wouldn't the risk be too great? Like, what if she bumped into somebody and it broke? Or anything like that. What if people actually investigated this? Huh? This is an example. This would be an argument of blatant favoritism. What, some third year gets that? No, get out of here with that. But it served a purpose. Whatever. Least favorite book, Half Blood Prince. Half Blood Prince. And why was it my least favorite? Harry and Ginny. Harry and Ginny. Also, there's this weird attempt with implying other stories are going on. Like Ron's story on the Quidditch field is an interesting thing, but out of like more perspective, like his relationship with Lavender Brown, like why would I do Lavender like that? Even more so that Lavender was white in the movies. No, she was black in the first couple movies, and then they turned her to white when she finally becomes a major character. I'm like, that's a bit racist. Bit racist. I mean, I don't really care, but if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Favorite movie? Oh, I'm going to cheat Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's out of the quote unquote Harry Potter movies. It's the one where I didn't know what was going to happen. I'd already read all the books. I read them, I read the first three in a year actually. What was it, fifth grade? Yeah, fifth grade, and I just kept going and going and going. Like I read The Prisoner of Azkaban until my copy was in tatters. So, yeah. But Fantastic Beasts Where to Find Them is just, I love it. Love that movie. I love Newt. I love Jacob. I love Tina. I love Queenie. They're just really great characters. Even Credence doesn't work my nerves yet. He will in Crimes of Grindelwald, though. He will. I promise you he will. Least favorite movie. What is least favorite? What is least favorite? It's not Crimes of Grindelwald. Might also be Half Blood Prince, actually. Yeah, all of my problems are on Half Blood Prince. Just sum that up. Favorite quote. It is not our abilities that determine who we are, but our choices. I love that quote because it's very Pokemon Mewtwo versus Mew. I love that quote Mewtwo goes the circumstance of your birth is irrelevant. It's what you do with the gift of life that determines your actual worth. And I love that. Really great moment. Let's see here. Favorite Weasley? Arthur Weasley, without a doubt. He's a great character from the moment he shows up in book 2 and movie 2. He's a great character. The fact that, when he hears that his kids took the car, he's like, oh, did it work? Because, by default, he knows the kids are fine. He's looking at them right there. So it's like, okay, we're good. All right? The implication that he's been adjusting some laws so he can do that is sketchy in the fun way. The fact that the first thing he asks Harry, the boy who lived, is, Harry, exactly what is the function of a rubber duck? His scene with Malfoy at Diagon Alley, who tells us we have a very different opinion on what disgraces the name wizard. which I think is an interesting question by default. His little argument with Molly in book three about whether or not to tell Harry that, oh, Sirius Black is looking to kill him. It's not just out of respect for Harry because he's done all this other stuff. It's because like he saved my daughter. I'm not gonna let him go out there not knowing what's coming for him. It's a great moment. And then of course this is something that should have been in book four, movie four, which was in book four when Arthur goes to pick up Harry from the Dursleys, and they don't say goodbye to him. He's like, hold on, Harry. Aren't you going to say goodbye to him? You're not going to see him for like a year. To Arthur, someone who's very family oriented, the idea that you wouldn't even say goodbye to someone in your family is like this huge. It's like it's below low class. Even Lucius would like give Draco like a nod, like don't shame the family and whatnot. There's an attempt there, at least. But favorite villain: Harry Potter has terrible villains. And terrible is might maybe too strong. They're all kind of weak. Voldemort's established to be the big bad, so no one's supposed to be worse than Voldemort, I guess. Even Grindelwald isn't that bad a villain. But it's more Johnny Depp's performance that I think sells it. Umbridge is a villain you just love to hate, like Joffrey. But Umbridge serves the point, at least I think, of the problem of government interference with the education system. USA. But anyway, I would have to say Grindelwald just because of Johnny Depp's performance. He spent a lot of time I think trying to escape Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think this is the closest he's ever gotten to an evil, captivating Jack Sparrow. Sweeney Todd didn't quite do captivating. You just kind of wanted to see him kill people, and of course see him rage. Grindelwald is way more composed, like the no matches, the cat spells. And I got a snake. I got a skull vape. Kill me. And of course, when he's conducting blue flames, and I hate Paris. Incinerate Paris. Let's see here. Favorite male character: Rubius Hagrid, keeper of keys and grounds of Hogwarts. Am I wrong for saying that Albus Severus Potter shouldn't have been a thing? Rubius Albus Potter made more sense. First of all, that's rap, which is hilarious. But it's better than Asp. Like, I didn't think Severus. I didn't think Sam earned getting someone's middle name. Also, did Ginny not get a say in any of these kids' names? But Hagrid would have been the better choice. I mean, who is the better father figure? Who's more of a father figure to Harry than Hagrid? He sees him at the beginning of every year, the middle of every year, the end of every year. Took him shopping for his first owl, for his robes. He's always looked after Harry in a sort of father-son way, or like an uncle-grandpa sort of way. Not uncle-grandpa, uncle, comma, grandpa sort of way. No one's uncle-grandpa, never. Let's see here. Favorite professor. Favorite professor. I'm gonna be a bit unique. I'm gonna try to be a bit unique here, and not pick the mainstream, which would be, I think Professor Lupin or Professor McGonagall. I think they're great. I think they're great characters, but I think they get a bit too much love. Professor Flitwick to me has always been an interesting character. I'm like, so yeah, weren't you Warwick Davis at one point? And my favorite Professor scene is just the scene at book 3 with the Frog Choir, where he's like, trouble, 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 goes round, bubble, something wicked this way come, blah. He's in charge of the Frog Choir. Love it. Love it. Let's see here. Favorite female character. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I think Luna Lovegood's an easy choice. She's fun. She's unique. I think a lot of people pick Hermione. I'm hoping book Hermione because movie Hermione I think is a lot of ways a different character. But to me, it would have to be Tonks, Nymphadora Tonks. Not just because she's like my Harry Potter crush for the most part, but I felt her performance was great. She's an answer to a generation gap in Harry Potter because if you go by how it looks, it's Harry's generation, then Sirius's generation, then Dumbledore, and there's by default, of course, a gap between Dumbledore and everyone else's generation. But there's nothing. But there should be a generation in between Harry and Sirius, and that would be Tonks. So I think Tonks is a really cool character because of that. She shows exactly what are the the young career wizards doing, and that's what Tonks is, and I love it. Let's see here. Wash Snape's hair or spend a day listening to Lockhart rant about himself. Um, if I wash Snape's hair, I might be able to jinx it. So it would only be turquoise. Totally throw off that whole thing. Or bubblegum pink. Yeah, bubblegum pink. No, no, no. Gryffindor red. It'll kill him. It'll kill him. And in the certain light, it'll say James Potter. It'll be great. It'll be great. Let's see here. Duel an elated Bellatrix or an angry Molly? Let's go, Bellatrix. Let's go. Because angry Molly scares me. If you weren't scared of her in book 2, you should have been scared of her in book 7 slash movie 7 part 2, because she was crazy. She took no prisoners. She killed Bellatrix. So, or something to Bellatrix. I'm hoping she killed her, but whatever, whatever, whatever. Travel to Hogwarts via Hogwarts Express or a flying car? Well, considering the fact that I'm in the U.S., I would attend Ilvermorny School, and we'll go with the same logic there, not to be pretentious. Um, uh, the train, first of all, no, no drive, no drive. Also, all the cool things happen on trains. All right, you find new friends, you find love, you can find a dead body, you gotta solve a mystery before the train reaches its destination, and you gotta go. Hold on, the mystery afoot. And we just go in. We just go in, and they'll ask me to leave the car because I'm interfering, and just be a whole fun time. Let's see here. Kiss Voldemort to give Umbridge a bubble bath. Hmm. Voldemort freaks me out because he has no nose. So I'm definitely gonna have to give Umbridge that bubble bath, and maybe drown her. Maybe drown her. Yelling Benjamin Barker, which has nothing to do with Harry Potter, but you get it. Ride a hippogriff or ride a firebolt? Hippogriff, hippogriff, because hippogriffs are cooler than firebolt. Also, I'm willing to bet broom theft is a major issue in the wizarding world. No one steals a hippogriff unless they want to die. And also really cool, according to the Harry Potter wiki, Newt's mother raised hippogriffs, which I think sort of fueled his love of magical creatures. So there we go. Is there a character you felt differently about in the movies versus the books? Um, Hermione. Hermione. There's not a lot of vulnerability to movie Hermione. There's a bit in book 2, but actually Hermione, Ginny, and Ron, I think were characters that underwent a lot of changes in the books. Ron is a bit dumber in the movies, where before he's a bit of a bubbler, but he's got his head on his shoulders. Um, there's Hermione seems to have no character faults whatsoever. The scene in the second movie when she knows what mudblood is, it makes more sense for Ron to know that, and not only because like Hermione comes off as someone who has she's learned about a language by reading it. She'd be a great. She's that obvious tour guide, and we're walking, and she talks about all this like superficial stuff that everyone kind of knows but doesn't need to know. Ron is someone who's lived there. He's the native, so he knows the slang, he knows the customs, he knows them on a more intimate level. And while you can easily make the argument, well, someone's probably called her that before. The problem is that implies a story we weren't aware of, and Harry Potter is not told from a perspective where we need to imply of another secret story to these characters who we're going to spend all this time with. All right, it just doesn't work. Jenny feels like a totally different character in book and movie, where there are subtle scenes in the books where you get the idea that she's an interesting character. Book 2 talks about how she feels a bit insecure that she has to wear secondhand clothes and use secondhand school supplies, and of course there's a scene where she's taping up a book, and it's natural. Well, she goes to the ball with Neville, and that's great. Much like, I'm not dating him, I'm just going to dance with him, and she's a bit upset that she missed a chance. That if she'd waited a bit longer, Harry would have asked her to the ball, and but what matters is Ginny isn't defined by being someone who just falls for Harry. Like that's not her end goal in the books. It just sort of happens. due to some black magic. And by black magic, I mean a luck potion, because Harry has heart palpitations in the books, and you can't convince me otherwise. Let's see here. Is there a movie you preferred over its book? Chamber of Secrets, despite what I just said about Hermione and Ron in that book, um, I think it just hits me a bit better as a movie. The Chamber of Secrets I felt was a better movie than the book. Um, I think they definitely sort of hit the tone. They cemented the tone that they set up in book one. The question was, could they do it again? And I think the Chamber of Secrets proved they could. And that was pretty much it. Pretty much it. Richard Harris or Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. Ooh, ooh. They're two very different takes on the same character. Harris's Dumbledore feels larger than life, like he's a fountain of infinite knowledge. For every 100 facts we think we know about a subject in the wizarding world, Dumbledore knows 1,000. All right, so that's Harris's Dumbledore. Um, Gambon's Dumbledore feels a bit more vulnerable, a bit more weary, like he's made some mistakes. And he's a bit stressed out. That's sort of where Harry, push your name in the goblet of fire came from. There's not Harry, put your name in the goblet of fire, man. He didn't. All right, so we're good. Also, since it's clear he didn't, we can't prove he did. Means that his name has been entered falsely. So someone has illegally entered him into a binding magical contract. We don't even know what that means. So what? Why can't he? Why does he have to compete? Just don't know. Just don't know. Sorry. Just something I don't get. Your top thing, person or event, which wasn't included in the movie that annoyed you most. Um, I can sort of understand why some things are not included in the movie. Time, edit. But I think what was one thing I would have liked to have seen added, and that would have definitely been the scene in book four, with Arthur going to get Harry and his little back and forth with the Weasleys. Like, aren't you going to say goodbye to him? Where you almost felt like, if they didn't say goodbye, like, we're just going to be here all day. I got nowhere to be, and I'm allowed to cast magic up in here, Oh, look at that. Oh, gee, vase broke. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, is that thing on fire? Oh, gee. Oh, all you gotta do is say goodbye to Harry. You're like, oh, gee, is that dog now a cow? Oh, crazy. No, I would have loved that scene. There's a lot of scenes that don't have Harry in that I think should have been included. A lot of smaller, more, I think, intimate scenes. Maybe Winky should have been added in. Not entirely sure. Whatever. Let's see here. If you could remake any of the Potter movies, which would it be? I would have remade movies 2 through 7, part 2. I just would have. I really love Book One. I have no complaints about the first one. But what I noticed about them is, and I wouldn't even remake them all. I would just sort of go in, wave my wand, and say, okay, so we got to change that direction, that one there, that one there. Okay, and it's all. And if you've heard my complaints, you can sort of guess what I would change. I would probably add some scenes. I want, like, anything else I would change, I would have to change the books, and I don't want to do that. It's too much work. So, and unless this is an actual wand, in which case I'm in. I'm totally in. Please be an actual wand. Let's see here. Which house was your first gut feeling you'd be part of? Well, in my more impetuous youth, reading Harry Potter, doing accelerated reading tests and having two friends that really loved Harry Potter, and we called ourselves, bear with me, the Scottish Gryffindors. I was Scrooge McDuck fan. Scotland's amazing. And we were Gryffindors. I think we just won because Gryffindor was the best house in the books. All right, they just get to do everything. They got the best characters. Malfoy's a jerk, Cedric Diggory dies, and we wouldn't meet Luna for like years afterwards. So, it's like there's nowhere else to go but Gryffindor, so let's go. But, I expand myself more into the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Gryffindor just sort of gets outplayed. Like, it's kind of overdone. It's sort of like the Superman of Hogwarts houses. Like, it's not bad, but it's kind of overplayed. It's kind of overplayed. I want the Batman house. Let's see here. Which house we actually sorted into on Pottermore. So I've taken the Pottermore test a couple of times. I did it for my mom. I just asked her the questions. She's in Gryffindor. Not all of it's perfect. Um, but usually when I take not just on Podmo but on online tests too, I gravitate between Slytherin and Ravenclaw, which I did not know was called a Slitherclaw. Yeah, stupid. But whatever, whatever, whatever. Um, I would probably say, at the end of the day, I am a Ravenclaw. But I usually tell people I'm Slytherin just because um, Slytherin needs better representation. I mean, so does Ravenclaw, honestly. But I had a friend who was really like Gryffindor, and he said like, "You're probably a Slytherin." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." What you gonna do about it? And Doctor Doom, I would say, is in Slytherin, whereas Doctor Strange is in Ravenclaw. Um, Screen Prism did a video series on the differences, and Ravenclaw is all about knowledge. Slytherin has a more utilitarian view. So in other words, it's not just that you can have knowledge. Knowledge has to serve a purpose. It has to serve a greater goal, and you can see how those two groups would sort of intertwine a bit more. So there's that. Also, on Ilvermorny, which I think is the important school there, Horned Serpent, yeah. So probably Slytherin then, just to keep the theme going. Which class would be your favorite? Charms, because Charms feels like the utilitarian class, the utilitarian field, because everything else is transfiguration, divination, herbology, charms, care of magical creatures, and potions. So, but every other spell falls into charms. Just unless like jinxes fall into defense against the dark arts, I'm not entirely sure. But it always feels like everything you else would learn is a charm. So, yeah. Which spell do you think would be the most useful to learn? ACO, the summoning charm, because I lose a lot of stuff, and I'm like, hey, you know what? ACO, cell phone, ACO, earphones, ACO, that dollar I lost, ACO, oh gee, that Game Boy I lost 10 years ago, actually like 15 years ago. Jesus, I'm old. You know, let's find what this stuff is. ACO, terrorist. Oh, there he is. We probably need to know his name. Also, you probably do have to actually know where they are. It's sort of you have to concentrate enough to bring it back out of it. Bring it there. So, you know, or Expelliarmus or Protego. Like I would say that would be the thing. Which character do you think you'd instantly become best friends with? Neville. I would definitely Neville because I could not stand Harry, Ron, and Hermione for too long. And this would also be like if I was in Ravenclaw, Slytherin. I'd be like I want to be in Slytherin, kind of just especially during the time that Harry's there, just to say like Malfoy doesn't speak for us. I don't know who this guy is. All right, he's kind of a jerk. All right, and I'd have questions too, especially at the end of book one. All these bonus points awarded for someone the best played game of chess. Did anyone hear about this game of chess? Ravenclaw, did you hear about this game of chess? Why didn't he get the trophy for the best played game of chess then? Huh? Huh? There was actually a trophy for chess playing. Why didn't he get it? It was the best played game of chess. You know? But Neville's a character that just wants to do his best. And I probably relate a bit more to Neville. I was a nervous kid. I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. And I'd like to be Neville's friend. We could do it together. We could encourage each other. And if not him, Hagrid. Like if you can't be friends with Hagrid, who can you be friends with? Let's see here. If you could own one of the three Hollows, which would it be? Well, I don't really need the Elder Wand, and I don't care about the stone. Invisibility cloak. I mean, first of all, it's the perfect invisibility cloak. It's always like one size fits all. It never gets old. You can just avoid death. Like, hey, death, bet you can't find me. And like, you know what, death, I'm done. There you go. And death just feel like, oh, damn that cloak. Damn that cloak. Is there any aspect of the books you'd want to change? Okay. So perspective needs to work. More diverse members, not in terms of the cast. I don't need a racially diverse cast, but every character in Slytherin or Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff always feels like the same. Like there's never a Slytherin just like a generally nice guy. You're like, yeah, I'm ambitious. I want stuff. I'm not a dick about it. You know. Yeah, like I wouldn't call you a mudblood, Hermione. Look, Malfoy doesn't speak for all of us. All right, I didn't know who he was until like 5 minutes ago. Um, I would say there's a bit of a problem with the world building. Again, change of perspective on characters. A Ron or Hermione centered chapter, I think, would have done later books a good deal of help. Um, I would also personally, and I've been arguing this before, Rowling should do a little mini comic, like a 7, 12 issue comic or graphic about all 7 years of Hogwarts, for Harry's first 7 years at Hogwarts, told from the perspective of totally new characters. Like one huge breakfast club, and we just sort of see them all doing random things, like in like they do year two, and we see some students who just see like, hey, where's Harry and Ron and Hermione going? They're going to an undead party. Nicholas death day party. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Or someone who's on the train that day with Lupin, like just sort of add a bit more depth to it. I've always felt that the Harry Potter world doesn't quite work outside of Hogwarts. Like I had questions about where do the Weasleys' money go, because from Wizarding standpoint, um, our money goes to utilities, um, bills and whatnot. So, but the Weasleys, because of magic, they don't have those bills. So where does the money go? It would have to be for paying for Hogwarts. How expensive is Hogwarts? Are we telling that only Bill and Charlie got the like legit good everything was paid for a moment, and they just sort of like had to fudge it afterwards. I don't quite get it. And even then, it would have to be what food they're also paying for. It's implied that they grow their own food. So where's the money going? Yeah, I've got some questions about Harry Potter. Favorite Marauder. Okay, so that's a tie between Lupin and James, because James is a really interesting character because he's bully. He's kind of a full of himself jerk, and then he sort of mellows out as he gets older. I like that little bit of information. Like, hey, he wasn't like this perfect guy. He was kind of a douche, and then he got over himself, and that's how he won the girl. Also, he never called her a mudblood. Just who'd have thought Lily Potter would draw the line there? Lily Evans would draw the line there. Like, well, Snape, like you were my best friend, but you started calling me all those slurs, and it hurt. You know, James is he's a bit of a jerk, and he's like he hits on me sometimes, but he's still like isn't a dick to me. Let's see here. Hollows or Horcruxes? Well, Horcruxes were later undone. Oh, by undone, I mean one-upped by a little something called Master Xehanort, turning his heart, which would be his soul, into these elite murderers, which is a lot harder to kill unless you're the protagonist. And the fact you lose a bit of your soul as you do it, I'm not a big fan of. Hollows are, I think, safer, quote unquote. And besides, avoid death. I think that's way better because there's a chance they'll find all those Horcruxes. But there's a harder chance they'll find you when they can't see or sense you. And I just sort of it. One more. J.K. Rowling needs to stop world building in this lazy way of going on Twitter and doing half done work on Pottermore and just write an Ilvermorny school book. Ilvermorny school deserves some actual lore and an actual story. Write the book. Heck, novelize Fantastic Beast. I know you want to. I know you can. And with that amount, brings video to close here. If you're new to the Bucket Think Tank, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some other videos, and I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. May your fandom serve you well. Mischief managed.